So back to your question, why in the world would they be interested in doing business with us? There's three really big reasons. They make more money, a lot of money. Number two, it's secure and safe. And number three, it's not volatile.
If you're a real estate investor and are wondering how to raise and leverage private money to make more profit on every deal, then you're in the right place. On Raising Private Money, we'll speak with new and seasoned investors to dissect their deals and extract the best tips and strategies to help you get the money, because the money comes first. Now here's your host, Jay Conner.
Thank you so much for joining us here at the Dwellynn Show, Jay. I'm your host, Ola Dantis. I cannot wait to dig in with you today, Jay. I've read so much about you. You're doing amazing things, and I just can't wait to get in. So thank you for joining, Jay.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on, Ola. I tell you what, you've got quite the story of what you've done since you got here in the United States, coming over from the United Kingdom. And wow, we may look a little different in age, but I don't know. I want to be like you a little bit when I grow up. You know what I
mean? Thank you so much, Jay. I don't think anyone I've ever said that to me on my show, so that's I like that. So just a little bit about Jay. Jay has been buying and selling houses for more than 14 years now. He's been involved in over 52 million in transactions only, and for the past 7 years, he's figured out a way to really automate his 7-figure business. Jay, I'm sure you can do it way better than I can. Can you just tell our Dwell listeners a little bit more about yourself and kind of what you've been up to lately?
Sure. Well, I live here in Eastern North Carolina. I've been buying and selling single-family houses for 15 years. The first 6 years, I funded my deals with, I relied on the local banks and mortgage companies. And then everything changed after getting in the business for 6 years. Like yourself, I also do commercial projects. I've got a pretty good sized shopping center that we developed from the ground up. That's only about 10 minutes from here in my office. I live here in Morehead City, North Carolina. And my wife, Carol Joy, we're in the business together. She oversees all the bookkeeping for the business. And she also travels with me around the nation. We do about 25 or 30 live events a year across the nation where we share with other real estate investors how we do the business. And what I'm known for is being Jay Conner, the Private Money Authority, because that's what I specialize in. I've got real good at raising money about 9 years ago when I got cut off from the banks. So what have I had going on lately? Well, just last week, I had my most recent live event here in Eastern North Carolina where we go out and look at our houses, and I teach real estate investors how to find deals before other real estate investors know they exist, that kind of thing. And just wrapped up this past week running my Mastermind group. We get together every 90 days and collaborate with what other people have got going on in the group and what's free. Because this business is just like any other business. It changes. What was working maybe a year ago as far as marketing and locating and finding deals and selling houses quickly, the strategies change. So that's always exciting. I always tell people, get together as often as you can with like-minded people and with people that are more successful than you are, right?
I like that, yeah.
If you want to learn how to play golf or tennis or whatever it is, hang around the people that are better than you. But nonetheless, don't forget about giving, because I always like to give back to even those that are starting out.
Wow, yeah. I mean, that's the secret, right? Giving back that's a big piece that a lot of us forget. So, Jay, I can't wait. Can you just tell us, what your real estate business is currently like? What are you, what do you invest in? What kind of deals are you doing? How many deals a year and profits? Sure. Can you just give us a spiel, just a general overview?
Sure. So my total target market, Ola, is only 40,000 people. Morehead City, North Carolina, only has between 8,000 and 9,000 people. So my total target market is only 40,000. So I'm going somewhere with this story. I only do 2 to 3 transactions a month in single family houses, okay, not including our other ventures. But with single family houses, only 2 or 3. But the average profit right now over the past 12 months is $64,000 per deal. So you don't have to do that many transactions to, you know, have significant profits in your deals. So since I started using private money to fund my deals when cut off from the banks years ago, we've been blessed to have, you know, the net profits per year of over $1 million. And of course, if you run the numbers the last 12 months, over $2 million in profits. And so again, you know, I got a lot of good friends that are wholesalers, make a lot of money wholesaling. I got friends that do over 100 deals a year wholesaling with average profits of 7,000 to 12,000. But I mean, assignment fees, if you will, or simultaneous closings. But I like the $64,000 profit per deal, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
So the overview of the business, 2 to 3 a month. So, you know, last 12 months, we've done about 30 deals. Most of them we do rehab or do some renovation to them, because to make that kind of money, typically you're going to have to do, you know, a fixer-upper to make that kind of profit. You're not going to make that kind of profit typically on what we call a pretty house. However, it's been my experience, Ola, that on average, only 13% of for sale by owners, FSBOs, if you will sell to us creatively. That means 87% want all the money. So 13% FSBOs, they'll sell to us creatively with either owner or seller financing, or buying subject to the existing note, or selling to us on lease option, or what have you. But if 87% of them are going to require all the cash, and of course, bank-owned properties and the MLS and all that, they always require the cash and auctions and et cetera. And I want to have the private money lined up so I don't miss out on any of the deals.
I like that. I really, really like that. So what I'm thinking is maybe you should walk us through the life cycle of a particular deal that maybe you've done recently, or you made, you know, a pretty sizable profit. Just kind of walk us through, how did you find the deal? And obviously you're private money, you know, king, so you use private money. And how did you kind of exit that deal?
Sure. So, well, we got lots of stories, so I'll just tell one of the recent ones. So let's call this the farmhouse deal. All right, the farmhouse deal. And there's quite a few lessons learned from this, what happened with this deal. So the house is located out in the country, a couple of miles off of the main highway coming in here to our area. So I did a yellow letter campaign. Do your listeners know what a yellow letter campaign is?
Feel free to kind of tell us what that is.
Well, yeah, in fact, I just ordered another campaign for myself. So a yellow letter campaign is you mail out an invitation size envelope, typically 4 by 6 inches. It's handwritten on the outside in red ink. It's got a live stamp, peel and stick stamp. Usually I call them fun and funky stamps. So whatever, like we don't buy a roll of stamps. We buy, you know, whatever the latest is, okay, where they come in sheets. And it's not licked and sealed. The back envelope, or back of the envelope is tucked inside. The return address is on the back of the envelope, but not a name, just return address. So this gets a very, very high open rate. It looks like you got a note in the mail from your grandmother or an invitation to something. Okay, that's why it's called an invitation size envelope. Inside the envelope is a yellow piece of paper off of a yellow pad that's been torn off of a pad, and it's handwritten in red ink, personal, and it says, "Hi, my name's Jay Connor. I'm interested in buying your house located at blank." So you're not blank, but fill in the address of the property, because the mailing address might be a P.O. box or et cetera. You know, they may not get the mail there. And sign, call me at, and Jay, that's it. That's it. So this letter gets between a 20 and 30% response rate. Okay, very high response rate. So the different lists we mail to, we mail different kinds of lists. This list we mailed to on the farmhouse deal was an absentee owner, out of state, absentee owner. So I'm looking for a tired landlord. All right. You got to be careful. If you're in a resort area, you'll be getting just a lot of secondary homeowners. Don't want that. I want tired landlords. that are sick and tired of tenants and toilets, right? So that's what we mailed to. This guy responds, he lived up in Chesapeake, Virginia. This house was in very, very poor condition. Built in 1945, not habitable. So here's one lesson learned. So over the phone, my acquisitionist, and my acquisitionist is a lady that gets the seller lead sheets filled out, all the information, the mortgage information, etc., negotiates the deal, gets them down as low as they'll go, and then sends it to me, and I review the seller lead sheet, right? And so she got them down to $80,000. And so we go look at the house. Now the after repaired value at the time we looked at the house was approximately $155,000, $160,000 after repaired value. So got them down to 80. We went and looked. It's going to need major repair. She got them in person down to $60,000. The repairs come in at $80,000. It's a small 3-bed, 1-bath. We got to add another bathroom and closet on the back of the house. A big rehab for a small house, only 1,300 square feet. $80,000, but it's going to be drop dead gorgeous. And so those numbers don't work. If I got to pay 60, put 80 in it, that's 140. I can't sell it for 155 or 60 and make any money. So here's another big lesson learned from this deal, Ola, and that is I got back to my acquisitionist. I said, offer $20,000 for the house. And it sat on 2 acres, almost 2 acres as well. She said, they'll never take $20,000. Here's a big lesson. You don't know, and the seller of the property do not know for sure what they will accept until you make the offer. Make the offer. If you want a property, make the offer. So guess what? They took it, right? So I bought it for $20,000, put 80 in it. Now I got 100 in it. Absolutely gorgeous. You can even have horses on this property if you want it out in the country. So I got 100 in it and put it in the MLS on a Friday. And by Sunday, I had multiple offers. And guess what? I put it in the MLS for $174,000 because the value had appreciated since we got the original after repaired value. Well, under contract for $172.5 by Monday.
Wow.
We sold it for $172.5. I had 100 in it, less realtor commissions, and I could tell a lot of things that we did to the house, but no time for that on your show here. But that's a recent deal.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. And for our Dwell listeners that maybe didn't catch on, but I really love the descriptive process that went into talking about the mailing letter, right? Because on other podcasts, people hear about, oh, you just send a letter to, but you went into detail, right? And can you just kind of elaborate on why you really described what you sent and what were you trying to tell us almost indirectly?
Sure. So first of all is getting the envelope opened up, okay? That's number one. Now, yeah, you can mail a postcard, but we've tested postcards. I've been doing yellow letters for almost 10 years. And the yellow letters, particularly when you start getting, if you're mailing something more sensitive, you don't want to put sensitive information, i.e. foreclosure, probate, that kind of thing on a postcard. So number one, get the envelope opened up. Number two, let's stop and think about it. This is a handwritten, and I've used both. I've actually used handwriting services. I mean, real people with a red ink pen, hand addressing the envelope and actually writing the letter itself. But we have a service now that we use that really has a good handwritten font. So, Ola, if you want me to, I'll share my secret source.
Is it yellowletters.com?
No.
Okay.
No. Don't use yellowletters.com. I mean, I don't. Okay. I've been using the same lady for 10 years. Here's another big thing on yellow letters. I didn't know we were going to talk about yellow letters today, but here we go. So big thing on yellow letters. Do not ever, don't ever hire a yellow letter service. I don't care who they are. I don't care how well you know them. I don't care if they're your best friend. Do not hire a yellow letter service and pay them money to put postage on the envelope and pay them money to mail your letters. Ask me how I know how, or how I know that, right?
How?
Because I got scammed. I sent all this money, and I mean, this was years ago. Sent all this money, and obviously it's not the source I'm going to tell you that I used. I mean, here in a second. But I spent all this money, and I'm getting like hardly no response. And I used other services, and I got great response. And it's the same kind of list. So come to find out, coming in the back door, I'm paying for 1,000 letters. They're mailing out maybe 200 and pocketing the money on the other 800. So here's how you here's how you fix that. You pay the yellow letter service. And by the way, a good yellow letter service will give you lists as well. Absentee owners, in-state, out-of-state, you know, probate, pre-NOD, pre-notice of default. You can get your list from a good yellow letter source. So you pay them to print them. So this service I use actually has a handwritten font that looks ugly but legible. That's what you want. Ugly sells. You don't want pretty. You want ugly. That's the third reason yellow letters work, is because it looks like Joe Schmo wrote you a letter. And motivated sellers want to take advantage of Joe Schmo. So it's not a business, it's not marketing business to individuals. It's very me to you, very personal. So you look like a new real estate investor, right? So come take advantage of me. So anyway, you pay the yellow letter service the money, all right? You're going to have me back on another show to even talk about private money. We're going to have to do part 2.
We have to.
How to fund your deals regardless of your credit, experience, or income. So you pay the money to the yellow letter service. They handwrite the letters, stuff them in the envelope, okay? They put a teeny tiny little number in pencil on the upper right-hand corner of the envelope that corresponds to the printout, so you can randomly check that they stuffed the right letter in the right envelope. And they mail all the envelopes already folded in force. So you fold this yellow letter in force, and you mail they mail them all to you, and you and your team put your fun and funky stamps on the envelope, and you drop them in the mailbox. That accomplishes 2 things. Number 1, you know they got mailed. Number 2, you know when they were mailed, so you know when you should be getting a response. You're not relying on somebody else telling you when you mailed them. And then thirdly, so you know you got them mailed, when the and it's coming from your local zip code. You know the stamp on it, instead of coming out from California somewhere. I mean, nothing against California, but I'm in North Carolina.
Right.
So it doesn't like sync up, you know. So,
I've never ever heard it described that way, Jay. Thank you so much. That is amazing. I've never even thought of that before, actually. Send it to me, and I can, you know, send it out and distribute it. I really like that. I really, really like that. So before
it keeps everybody accountable. So anyway, here's my secret source. All right. Her name is Christy King, King. She's located down in Florida. She's got great lists. She handles all the printing, turns it around in 48 hours. It's crazy. And her website is www.yellowletterlady.com.
I was close, Jay. I was close.
Well, I'm sure I haven't gone to look. I'm sure there's a yellowletters.com,
right.
But whoever it is, I don't know.
Right. No, thank you so much for giving us that secret sauce. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate that. Before we jump into the advantages of private lending, which I'm sure you will anyway, most Dwell listeners will be thinking, why would a private lender want to give me money? Why would they want to do that?
Sure. I think what we need to do first, Ola, if you don't mind, is let's define even what a private lender is.
Yes.
Or what a private lender isn't. So a private lender is an individual, just like you, just like me, that loans us in money, funds our deals, and whether it's single family houses or apartments or commercial, whatever, from their investment capital, okay, or their retirement funds, personal retirement funds. Very, very big. I mean, over half of our private lenders loan to us from their retirement funds. We have, Carol Joy and I, we have 47 private lenders right now. And of course, your audience doesn't need 47 private lenders. Start out with 1 or 2, right? The way I did. But it's really important for your followers and viewers and listeners, if they want to get private money, they need to establish a relationship with a self-directed IRA company and representative that they can refer their new private lenders to on getting their funds transferred over from where they currently have retirement funds to a self-directed IRA company to where the lenders can truly self-direct. But anyway, I guess we should do a show on self-directed IRAs. Anyway, so it's an individual. So we're not relying on banks. We're not relying on institutions. We're not relying on mortgage companies. This is all doing business with individuals. And they come from 3 primary categories, all right? We call it your warm market, so people you have some kind of relationship with. Secondly, existing private lenders, and of course we can talk about where in the world you find those. And then the third category I call is your new warm market. It's people that I can tell you where to go meet. I can tell you where to go where the money is, how to network with those people, and then those people can become private lenders. So it's an individual. So back to your question, why in the world would they be interested in doing business with us? There's 3 really big reasons. One is they're going to make a whole lot more money than they can get through any traditional resources. Ola, do you know what the average 12-month certificate of deposit is paying at the local bank?
I can guess.
Right now?
I can guess. 0.05.
Unbelievable. So just a few months ago, it was 0.27. I'm talking about a 12-month CD. But it's been a little crazy recently. It's all the way up now. It's all the way up to 0.71%.
Wow.
Per year.
Wow.
So when you come along and pay a private lender 8%, now not 15% like hard money, but 8% with no points, no origination fees, no extension fees, straight 8%, that's still 16 times as much money as a private lender is going to get at a certificate of deposit, you know? I mean, they got some stuff out there now you can go pretty aggressively at between 3 and 4%, you know, with your stockbroker and get a fixed rate, but it ain't 8%. So number 1, a lot of money. Number 2, it's secure and safe, and here's how. It's secure because I don't borrow any private money from private lenders unless I give them a mortgage. Okay, here in North Carolina, it's called a deed of trust. So I don't borrow any unsecured funds. And it's safe because it's a conservative loan to value. So I borrow up to 75% of the after repaired value. But guess what? I still don't bring any money to closing. How do you do that, Jay? Well, if you're buying at 50% of the after repaired value, let's say you got a $200,000 after repaired value. If I buy it for 100, which is not out of the ordinary, I mean, if it's a bank-owned property or distressed property, you can buy it at 50% of the after repaired value. I can borrow up to $150,000 on that deal. I can bring a $50,000 check home when I buy. Who wants to get paid, you know, to buy? But I'm not going to bring that big check home unless I'm doing a rehab, right? You know. So the second reason is it's safe and it's secure. And the third reason is, and my private lenders love this, particularly the older they get, the more they love it, their principal loan amount is not volatile. The principal loan amount stays the same until cash out. Now, what they love about that is because that's in contrast to the stock market. Oh my lands, is the stock market volatile? Well, as of today, when you and I are doing this show, yeah, it's volatile. It's all over the place. And the older the private lenders get, the less time they have for a correction, right? So they love it. So let's say they loan me $100,000 on a deal, okay? They loan me $100,000. Well, and I tell them, nothing comes out of that loan amount. I mean, there's no fees, no commissions. You're going to get all your principal loan amount back when the house cashes out, okay? Plus any unpaid accrued interest. So here's the deal. So for that to work, we're making interest-only payments or accruing interest-only payments. A lot of our deals, we don't even make monthly payments. We'll pay quarterly, semi-annual, or annual, okay? So the reason interest-only payments is so attractive to both the lender and to myself is because, first of all, on the side of the private lender, they're gonna make a whole lot more money, because if I'm paying principal and interest payments, I'm paying their principal amount down to the payments. They're not keeping all their money at work. They're not making as much money. And on my side of the table, interest-only payments, of course, helps cash flow, because interest-only payments are less than principal and interest. So those are the three reasons. They make more money, a lot of money. Number two, it's secure and safe. And number three, it's not volatile.
Wow, I really like that. Actually, I've never looked at it from that angle. Just the way you kind of put that together.
Yeah. So now you're gonna get more private money.
Yeah, and I can't wait. We're always looking for investors, constantly looking for passive investors. You already know that. So, but what I do want to ask is, how do you get the word out there that, I am looking for, private investor, I have good deals? How have you done that in the past? What strategies have you used and what has worked for you?
Well, let me first tell you and your listening followers, never ask anybody for money. I've raised millions and millions and millions of dollars, and I've never asked for money. Well, let me tell you what I have done, and I put it on automatic. I make my program available. You say, what do you mean, Jay? Your program? Yeah, my private lending program. And here's what I mean by that. When I was borrowing money from the banks, it wasn't my program. It was the bank's program. They set the interest rate. They set, the frequency of payments and the term and blah, 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 blah. It was the bank's program. You see, this was a huge mental mind shift that I had to get my mind wrapped around when I got cut off from the banks and learned about private money. When I learned about private money, I was able to attract. See, that's just it. We're not chasing, we're not begging, we're not selling, we're not trying to talk anybody into anything, right? And which is easier, chasing or attracting? Of course, attracting is much easier. So what I did is I put my program together, all right? So and I pay them all the same, okay, because they talk. So what interest rate am I going to pay? What's my term? How can they get their money back in case of an emergency? Blah, 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 etc. And how am I going to get that word out? Well, so I wrote and recorded this audio called Stress-Free Investing, How to Print Money Automatically. And so when I started 9-10 years ago, in private money, I've been doing the business for, quite a while. So I recorded this audio, and this audio, the purpose of the audio was not to sell people on my private lending program, because the audio doesn't spill the beans. The audio gives an overview of what private money is, because nobody's heard of private money. All 47 of my private lenders, none of them, zip, nada, none of them had ever heard of private money or private lending until they heard my audio, or until I told them about it over lunch or whatever. And so the audio tells what private lending is, but it doesn't tell the interest rate or how they get their money back in case of an emergency, or all the details. You see, the purpose of the audio is to get their greed glands swelling up, so they cannot wait to hear what your program is. See, it raises those questions. And so, when I started, 9 years ago or so, attracting private money, I just handed that CD out like it was candy. And I didn't even tell them, I didn't say anything about real estate. I didn't say anything about private money when I'm giving the CD. All I said was, I've got a 16-minute, and I stress that 16-minute because I don't want to think it's some hour-long thing. I got a 16-minute audio, and it will show you how to get higher rates of return on your money than you can probably get anywhere else. That's all I say. I give it to them. I did no follow-up. I didn't chase anybody. I didn't call them up. I figured if they listen to that audio and they got money, they're going to want to talk to me, right? Because fantastic program. So now we convert that, and I have recorded that audio and personalized that audio now for over 1,000 of my students across the nation. Customize it for them because it works. And so now we converted to the MP3, so you can email it or, send it by Dropbox with a link, so you don't have to hand out the CD. And and the email that you send is so simple. Because again, we're not chasing anybody. You know what the subject line is of the email?
What?
Hey. That's the subject line. So anyway, we convert it to a YouTube link so you can text it to, anybody, So that's one big way that I did consistently in that first 90 days. And I still today. I did a private lender luncheon. I attracted $969,000 in one little old private lender luncheon. By the way, if you want me to, at the end of your show, I'll give a information on how people can go to my online masterclass called Where to Get the Money Now. And I go into detail, the 5 steps of going from no private money to millions in private money in a short period of time. But the audience, so YouTube, the reason I thought of that is because I talk about private lender luncheons on the masterclass that, your viewers can watch. So, and of course, the Rotary Club is always looking for a speaker now and then. So if your viewers or listeners are not into being in front of the camera or being in front of an audience, get somebody in your team to do the talking for you. I got this real simple, you can read, you can do it. I got this simple PowerPoint called the Private Lender Presentation that talks about what private money is. And so, it's just getting the word out, and the money, and when the word gets out, the money's chasing you. The money is chasing you. I've never asked, I've never chased. My lands, I just got a call a couple of days ago. This guy's been referred. He's heard about my private lender program. He wants to start with $150,000. So, I got right now almost 7 million that we're, churning from properties or, single family houses and stuff. So anyway, sorry for the long answer.
No, that was great. The idea that you attract money as opposed to chasing it is just, I think, fascinating. So definitely want that for our Dwell listeners. Yeah. Before we get to the quick run, I've just got a quick question I want to ask you. So we know how to attract funds now. We know the strategies. Well, we have an idea of the strategies that we can, deploy to get private money. But how do you actually close or fund, with a private lender? What kind of documents would you need to get that done?
I'm so glad you asked, because it don't get any more simple than this. All right. So in all the private money deals I've done, I've never been asked for an appraisal. I've never been asked for proof of funds, even though I do supply that to my students. So here's the documents. Literally, closing can take place literally in 1 minute at the real estate attorney's office or whoever your closing agent is, title company, escrow company, whatever. Here's the documents. Simple. First is a promissory note, which lays out the terms of the note. Who's the borrower, who's the lender, what's the interest rate, what are the payments, what's the frequency of payments, And what's really cool is I have got a 12-point little checklist on one Word document that takes literally less than 2 minutes to fill out. You fill in those blanks, email it to the paralegal or the real estate attorney to prepare the documents, and it's got all the information on those 12 little points, and they prepare the promissory note. The other document, of course, is the mortgage, or if you're in a deed of trust state. The other document is the insurance policy, which names the lender, the private lender, as the mortgagee. Okay, so God forbid the property burns down, mortgagees, private lenders get paid first before the rest of us. And the title policy, they're named as an additional insured on the title policy. Boom, that's it. And guess what? Here's a big tip. If you really want to get your real estate investing business on autopilot, I don't even have to go to closings. I've given my real estate attorney power of attorney with the authority to buy any property, to sell any property, sign the documents as my power of attorney. And I just have to put in an email the authorization that I'm approving the terms. And, boom, attorney does the closings.
Wow, I love that.
Then I just send somebody to their office to pick up the big check. Because we always get a big check when we buy, and then another check if we sell on rent to own, and then another big check when we cash out. 3 checks on every transaction if we're selling on rent to own. 2 big checks if we're just cashing out an MLS.
Wow, fantastic, Jay. I mean, I just wish we can keep going, but we're definitely dwelling into the quick round. These are going to be quick questions, quick answers. You ready, sir?
You didn't tell me anything about quick questions. Oh no, what am I going to do?
First question. What makes Jay unique? I mean, what is that?
So these questions are going to be so good. I got to write these down for my own show. By the way, do you mind if I tell folks about my show?
Of course, please do it. Plug it in. Abundance.
So y'all can find me on iTunes and on YouTube. It's called Real Estate Investing with Jay Conner. And my guests are almost as exciting as Ola's. But so we talk about, we talk a lot about private money and finding deals and, single family commercials as well. So what makes Jay Conner
unique?
The first thing that comes to mind, and my mind's a lot of things that come to mind, but I guess one thing that makes me unique is what I hear I hear it all the time at my own live events, my mastermind groups, and from my students across the nation, is authenticity and genuineness. So, what you're seeing is who I am. And yes, I actually am this excited all the time. And yes, I am this passionate all the time. So maybe that's something else that makes me unique, is I have contagious joy.
It's absolutely contagious, because I can feel it right here. I really love it. Second question.
Okay, all right.
Yep. Second question. What was the last book that you read? And what was the one thing that you picked out of that book? What was that one thing that you learned from the book?
Wow. One of Hal Elrod's most recent books called Miracle Morning, What Millionaires Do Before 8 a.m. in the morning. And I absolutely love the morning routine in that book. The morning routine has got an acronym, is SAVERS, S-A-V-E-R-S, stands for silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. That morning routine, laid out in detail, will transform your life. Oprah Winfrey only does 3 of them. Imagine what would happen when you do all 6 of them 1 hour each morning. Great book
by Hal. I know that book very well. Last question. So you've got all your speaking events, your master classes, obviously your podcast, you're flipping all these homes, you're cashing checks. What do you do for fun?
Well, what you just said. Podcast is fun. Being a guest on your podcast is fun. Finding deals before other real estate investors find them is fun. I enjoy the chase. My lands, sharing with other real estate investors what I've learned is fun. But what else do I do that's fun? Well, I write and record piano music. If I could turn this camera around, I'd show you the posters up on the wall of my piano releases. So one thing most people don't know about me is my lands back in the late 90s. My piano music, my orchestral music, I got piano music that's got orchestra behind it, was in a Universal Studios movie with Ryan O'Neal and Jackie Chan and Whoopi Goldberg. And the name of the movie is Burn Hollywood Burn. Terrible movie, but the music was great. So anyway, and so that's fun. On Monday nights, my wife Carol Joy and I, we're at the church, and I teach new songs, new spiritual songs, and I write songs for the church. And so I teach new songs, and I teach sight readings. So music is a big part of our family as well. And being involved with the church, serving other people is what it's all about.
Love it. Totally can relate on that level for sure. So if I'm a Dwell listener listening to our conversation, and I'm thinking, wow, I really like Jay. I want to get involved with Jay. I want to be one of his students. I want to join his class. I want to learn more about Jay. What's the best place people can, connect with you?
Sure. So let's do this, Ola. Let's send them to your website, because everybody knows you and your website. So let's go to the website and let's do a special URL. So let's send them to www.realestate, Dwellynn, DWELLYNN.com, your website, / all in lowercase, private money, one word, private money, PRIVATE, money, MONEY. And that's where the free masterclass is, titled Where to Get the Money Now, is located. But we actually answer the telephone here at my office. So our phone number is 252-808-2927, 252-808-2927, and that rings right here to me.
Thank you so much, Jay. Not only for giving the masterclass to our listeners, but also giving your direct number. Thank you so much, Jay. Really appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much for having me on, Ola, and let me know when part 2 is.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you feeling inspired by the knowledge you gained in this episode? Then head over to jconner.com/moneyguide. That's jconner.com/moneyguide. And download your free guide that shares 7 reasons why private money will skyrocket your real estate investing business right now. Again, that's jconner.com/moneyguide to get your free guide. We'll see you next time on Raising Private Money with Jay Conner.